night on assignment, I returned to the Somali capital Mogadishu, a city working hard to overcome years of conflict.
I can still remember playing as a kid in this area and seeing it now. I mean, I thought a lot more of it would be destroyed.
Dan Rivers is in Poland, talking to men and women confronting the crimes of the communist era. And Alok Jar visits one of the largest and most ambitious science projects ever attempted.
Do you think this is going to work?
Of course it is. Yeah, definitely.
You're confident 100%?
Yes, I wouldn't be here otherwise.
Good evening and welcome to the first on assignment of the year. After the Somali government collapsed in the 90s, the country descended into a brutal civil war and hundreds of thousands of Somalis were forced into exile across the globe. Today, a peace of sorts has returned, as have some of those who fled, passionate to start rebuilding their homeland in the face of a violent terrorist insurgency. I travelled to the capital Mogadishu, the city where I was born, to find out whether this fragile new dawn is becoming a reality. Rise up, support each other, don't fight. Come back with strength and joy and be friends again. The words of Somalia's national anthem that for a quarter of a century rang hollow amidst a vicious civil war. But they're words that are now being sung with a sense of genuine conviction, as this country enters a period which many here believe is its best and most genuine chance of securing a peaceful future. I start my journey by going back to a family home. Built in the 60s, it was expanded to house Western diplomats at a time when foreign businessmen, investors and tourists visited and lived in Mogadishu.
Seeing it now, I mean, I thought a lot more of it would be destroyed, but I'm just amazed to see that families still living here and at least making some use of the places that we used to live.
It's all gone to seed now, lived in by families displaced by the fighting.
Okay.
The disused swimming pool, a reminder of a carefree life that many once led here. The reality today is a far cry from that, but it is changing. The village restaurant is one of the most popular in Mogadishu. It's booming now, but it wasn't always like this. It was the target of suicide bombings on 4 occasions by the militant Islamist group Al-Shabaab, because its clientele were government employees, businessmen and intellectuals, as well as Somalis returning from the UK, North America, Europe and beyond. That's exactly what Ahmed Jama did. Originally from Hammersmith in West London, he's the owner and founder of the restaurant. He said he came back to show people that one person could make a difference. I still feel that, he says. I haven't lost that hope. But when I ask him if he regretted anything given the multiple bombings of his restaurant, he was defiant. Although many died here, including my staff, including many of my customers, and I've poured money into rebuilding after each attack, I won't give up. In fact, I'm going further, opening up new ventures in other parts of the city. This is a city caught in a fragile moment, emerging into a period of renewal with new buildings and offices springing up. But it's also still haunted by the spectre of violent extremism. Nothing captures this sense of renewal more than this place. This school is in a neighborhood called Hamar Chachap, which literally means broken Mogadishu. but it's risen from the ashes. It's the first state school to open since the civil war began a quarter of a century ago. Till now, the only schools have been private. Little wonder the president has chosen this school to celebrate the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. But he knows his government faces a critical challenge. As many Somalis are returning to invest in the country, and parts of the city, which were until recently no-go areas, are coming back to life, the question ordinary Somalis thinking of their children's futures are asking is whether politicians will make use of such an opportunity.
The real question is the extent to which the Somali government can seize this momentum. Because the reality is, the more people believe they have a government that's accountable to them, the less likely they will be to tolerate al-Shabaab.
President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud is the first civilian to win a free and fair election in Somalia for 45 years. He never fled the country and stayed right through the civil war.
A 5-year-old boy in 1990, when the state was collapsing, today is 29 years old. Most probably he got a family, wife and kids. He has never been to school, he's never been in training. He doesn't have the tools of life in his own hands. So he's very, very vulnerable to be recruited by al-Shabaab or by the pirates. And more than 65% of the population is less than 35 years old in Somalia. So imagine the magnitude of the challenge when it comes to the young people who are desperate.
How does a country whose system of government is in the process of being built make young Somalis who don't have a job or a means of income believe that the ballot box and not the gun is the best way to secure their future? It's the question above all others that will determine just how genuine and sustained Somalia's new sense of optimism is. But in order to see if that optimism is real and you want to test the economic mood in Mogadishu, you have to come here. With no stock market in the country, the central fish market is where you can judge whether people are spending money. Fish is very much a luxury item in Somalia. The main customers here are the traders selling to the city's restaurants and hotels, who in turn are serving middle-class clients and foreign visitors and diplomats. Giant snapper, tuna and marlin are all sold here each day, and trading is busy and brisk, and the prices are holding firm. Another reason why a booming fish market matters is because it means the sea, which used to be plagued by piracy, is now safe again. Somalia has the longest coastline in Africa, over 2,000 miles of white sandy beaches along the Indian Ocean. With no government for 25 years, foreign fishing fleets plundered the fish stock, putting Somali fishermen out of business, which is why many took to piracy. Somalia Fish Guard is a British company helping the Somali government get its fishing industry back on track by making foreign fishing fleets apply for licenses and protecting areas where only local fishermen can work.
What that means is that the government has the authority now to say, if you want to come and fish here, you will first of all pay a license, which is revenue for the country, and secondly, you will operate by the rules that we lay down.
Neighborhoods in Mogadishu like this one, which only a year ago were held by al-Shabaab and were no-go areas, are now bustling, full of life and trade. But such gains are fragile and precarious, as I was reminded as I was leaving the city. In a major boost for Somalia's international profile, President Erdogan of Turkey led a huge diplomatic and trade delegation to Somalia, where he announced millions of pounds of new projects. But as he was arriving, al-Shabaab detonated a suicide car bomb outside a hotel where Turkish delegates were staying, killing 3 Somalis. It's a reminder of how the future of this city is still in the balance between renewed optimism and the extremism and divisions that have left it in such ruins. But there's a real sense that Somalia has the momentum and international support that can see it re-emerge from the ruins. Much hope to be found on the streets of